Hey guys, Batuning here. Today we're going to go over the incoming healer tunings for PvP coming November 26th. Now, let me tell you, there is a healer in here that has been showered with a bit of niceness. So can't wait to share that with you because it is personally my favorite healer to play. So first off, we have Resto Druid. Swiftman healing increased by 25%. Very nice. Very nice. Now, do I think this is going to be make Resto Druid predominant? I'm not too sure. Not really. I don't really see them too much in my RPGs. I actually don't see them at all in RPGs. Blitzes, there's the occasional Resto Druid, especially if it lines up with the flag map. Hey, they're going to have some playability. But in twos, you can definitely still see them because that's kind of the natural bracket that Resto Druid shines. But threes, I have not seen any, so I can't really make too many assumptions on Resto Druid. I know they got a whole bunch of changes for the anniversary event, but I'm not sure if 25% Justice Swiftman is going to really make them predominant. But I can't really call it Resto Druid because, again, I just haven't seen it at all. I don't play it as much as my other healers, nor do I see it at all in my PvP experiences. But I don't think 25% is really going to make a huge difference. But it is nice because it is just instant healing that healers need nowadays in order to survive. So I guess it will have some bit of an impact, but not to the point where it's going to beat our Mistweavers and our Holy Paladins and our Disc Priests. No, not that level of awesomeness. So here we have some. This is some game-breaking tech right here, guys. Look at this buff. Conduit Celestial's Courage of the White Tiger damage increased by 35%. No, the thing with Mistweaver is that they're both good. Conduit Celestials is good. Master of Harmony is just a little bit better. Why? It's because it has more power. I mean, with how much influence Thunder Focus T has become nowadays, having two charges and having the amount of talents that influence Thunder Focus T in the ways that they do, it just makes Master of Harmony that much more better, and it plays into the idea of consistent healing. I mean, that's the whole idea of Mistweavers is having consistent healing. Master of Harmony ties into that. So, and with the whole hybrid build of the hybrid rushing wind kick and the Chi crane build, it's a nice little bit of a switch up that Master of Harmony plays really well into. So I'm not too sure what they need to do to Conduit Celestials to really kind of make it more flavorful. Because really, when I only think about Conduit Celestials, I really only think about the actual Conduit skill itself. And that skill is great. It's just it's another cooldown to have, but there needs to be some other rotational help or some bit of other rotational power outside of that Conduit that really makes Conduit Celestials pop. And 35% to Courage of the White Tiger, if it also buffed the healing of Courage of the White Tiger, maybe, you know? But right now, there's some really awkward talents in Conduit that I'm really not a huge fan of. Like, for example, the Rushing Jade win. I really wish they did away with the whole Rushing Jade win. I feel like that just hasn't been anything impactful to Mistweaver for a long time. And I really wish they did without that and just kind of brought something new, flavorful. But maybe I'm just kind of tripping balls here. But yeah, I don't think 35%. If it buffed the healing, sure, maybe it'd be a little bit nice, a little bit more cleaner. But just buffing the damage occurs with the White Tiger is not really too awesome. Here we have Holy Priest. Serenity healing, Sanctify healing increased by 25%. That's great. I mean, it's great. Before they buffed your Serenity and Sanctify by 40%, and that was a pretty big change. I mean, my Serenities hit for pretty decent numbers nowadays. They're hitting for about 3 millions now. On average, on the higher ends, about 4 millions, and the higher ends, 5 millions, and it was all procs aligned. About 6.2 is the highest I've hit, so it hits decently hard now. Sanctify also heals for about 800k every Sanctify, so it's not too bad. I do wish that Sanctify got some bit of changes in the sense of buffing the healing of it, but also making it have some form of impact, like maybe tying it into your renews, or refreshing your renews, or applying renew or something. Because as it stands right now, just being an AoE heal, I don't know. I feel like it could have some more impact currently. But maybe I'm overthinking it. But yeah, 25% is just nice. I mean, the more healing you do as a Holy Priest, the more mastery healing you're going to do. So it's kind of like indirect buff to your mastery. But it's also the main thing you need to do for Holy Priest in order to make it good. Because, again, Holy Priest has no defense, no damage mitigation. It's a pure healer. So unless you're doing really good healing, really high HPS, you're going to be dog crap. So really got the buffing the Serenity and Sanctify. Resto Shaman. Jesus, this is sad to look at. So Farseer Chain Lightning, Farseer Lava Burst damage increased by 15%. I'm not going to talk about this yet. I'm going to talk about it when we go over the other Resto Shaman change. Going down here, we have the Wildstalker Symbiotic Blooms healing increase by 25% for Wildstalker Resto Druid. Really nice. I mean, again, I think from what I've heard from my Resto Druid buddies, you do play double Swiftmend for Wildstalker, so it's more instant healing, a little bit higher bloom healing. Nice. Again, is it going to make it predominant? No. Do I wish? Yeah. Cause, I mean, seeing the same two healers for more than 2 weeks in PvP is enough to blow my brains out. So the fact we've seen Holy Paladin and Disc Priest for longer than that really makes me mad and sad. So, I love Holy Paladin. Coming down here, we have Holy Priest, more changes. Flash heal, and powered life healing increased by 10%. It's great. Flash heal does good healing nowadays. I mean, especially as an Archon, you can hit for 4 million flash heals with Resonant Words. Really big thumbs up. Powered life. I'm a big powered lifer, especially for Holy Priest. I think it's so good just having another button to press, especially when you're down those Serenity charges. Great, amazing. Now, heal, I'm just not too sure. I know for PvE, you cast heal a lot because you play Lightweaver. At least that's what I see some Holy Priests do. And that's fine, but for PvP, there's just no incentive. There's no reason to cast heal. There's nothing it does that Flash Heal doesn't do, other than simply just hold off on a bit of mana. So, not entirely too sure. And plus, Surge of Light Flash Heals are going to be taking over your rotation. So, there's just really no reason to cast heal. There's legit no reason. Like this Everlasting Light does nothing for heal. Like, it just does nothing for heal. You would think it does because of how crap your mana is for Holy Priest, but it just doesn't do anything. It just doesn't do healing. If it had some other bit of power, like maybe buffing your mastery for by a certain percentage for a couple seconds, maybe. I'm not too sure. I'm kind of throwing ideas out there, but as it stands right now, heal is just like every other heal for any other healer. It's the mana conservative, but big heal that doesn't really do anything. You see they changed that for a lot of other healers. For example, Holy Paladin, they made Holy Light cost a lot of mana, but heal for really big numbers, especially if your procs lined up. For Resto Shaman, you never really cast Healing Wave other than your Primordial Wave lineup, which again incentivizes you to cast Healing Wave. So there are ways you can do that for Holy Priest, but they just don't want to do that. So really looking to see if they're going to ever implement something like that. As it stands now, no reason to cast heal. Mind Games is decent. The problem with Mind Games when it was in the general tree wasn't the fact that it was in the general tree, it was the fact that it sucked. So the fact they put it in the PvP talents where you already have a surplus, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a surplus of honor talents that you don't use at all, really makes it harder to take Mind Games, because you need Crescendo, you need Redeemer, and you don't need Phase Shift, but Phase Shift is always something you can take for Phase Shift. You can always fade something. It's a default pick. You have a lot of honor talents. I really wish we went back to the Legion-style honor talents where you weren't super locked into talents, and the choice of the matter wasn't that detrimental, because the pick wasn't that really hard to do. Because again, you simply had to pick one of the three in that row, and that was it. Whereas now you have to pick, 3 of the 12, and you're never really going to swap out of them. So it's really awkward. Unless it does really big damage and forces the spells, maybe you can play with some spell cleaves and kind of force the spells, force them to take some backlash. Maybe, but as it stands right now, I'm not too sure. But 40% definitely does seem like a good number. Definitely do think it will do some more damage, but we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. So back to what I said about the Resto Shaman. Law Burst damage increased by 30%, and Flame Shock damage increased by 30%. So damage increase, Lava Burst and Flame Shock. Ancestor damage increase with the Lava Burst and Flame Shock for your ancestors as a Farseer. They have their priorities wrong. Listen, I love when they do damage tunings for healers. Why? Because it's great. I mean, as a healer, at least for me, I don't want to simply just sit there and heal all the time. I want to do some bit of damage. I want to have some bit of influence on the game when the timing counts. But before you do anything about the damage, you have to make sure they're doing good on healing, because they're a healer. The healing should always come before the damage. And right now, Resto Shaman sucks. It does pretty bad healing. And when you're completely ignoring that fact that it's doing crap healing to buff the damage to kind of get some bit of good reaction out of me, be like, thank you, Lizard, for actually looking at Resto Shaman, It sucks. It doesn't work. Do I think this is gonna help? Not at all. Do I think this is gonna incentivize me to do more damage or to really focus on spreading those flame shocks and get those lava bursts out there? Probably not, because unless you're actually focusing on spreading flame shocks, you're probably not going to get any lava bursts out there because you're not going to be getting any lava surge procs. So unless you have at least 2 to 3 flame shocks out there, you can kiss any bit of any window of actually doing damage goodbye. So unless they made it actually easier to do damage without actually buffing the healing, which I mean I wish they buffed the healing. Then yeah, maybe if they took flame shock off the cooldown, like for like Elish Shaman for Legion, maybe. Alright, and maybe that incentivized me to actually spread flame shocks and actually really, bank on the lava surge procs. However, currently, it's hard to get damage off because your healing sucks. And it's hard to get damage off because I'm not really focusing on spreading flame shocks. Because when I do that, guess what happens? I fall behind on healing. So, these problems are intertwining with each other like a tangled web. So, really hope we can find a common middle ground of having good healing and having good damage, and having an easier way to get that damage off, whether that's actually making the damage itself easier to get off, or making the healing much more impactful to actually give me some breathing room to actually get the damage off. So, yeah, that's kind of my whole bit on that. Yeah, going over everything. I mean, Resto Druid got buffed. Do I think it's going to be impactful? Yes. Do I think it's going to make Resto Druid predominant? Not really. Holy Priest, do I think it's going to make it... Do I think it's going to be back in the meta? Not too sure, because what are you going to do about the mana issue of Holy Priest? It's the worst mana conservative healer, so what are you going to do about that? And that's really going to be the ultimate killjoy of a healer, is the mana. If you can't go the distance, then... then what? Are you simply just gonna bank on the fact that you're gonna last 2 minutes? No, it's not always gonna be a 2-minute game. So yeah, so I really wonder what's gonna happen with the mana of Holy Priest, and seeing how maybe you can do some really good healing, but your mana is gonna be crap. So I really want to see how Holy Priest is going to fare. I want to see how Zen is going to play Holy Priest nowadays, because obviously he's the godfather of Holy Priest currently, because JT doesn't play Holy Priest, he plays Holy Paladin now, which is a sellout. So, really excited to see how these changes will impact the PvP scene. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Of course, if you did, leave a like rating down below. Comment something nice. Maybe comment your own opinions on these buffs. And hopefully I'll see you guys for the next Big Tuna video. Alright, have a good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, peace.